Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Awthentik and The Beard. This is the Parlay, and my voice is still a little jacked up from Thursday Night Football. We were at the game. It was lit. Washington came out with a victory. But today is all about your fantasy football, your NFL bets. We are about ready to rock and roll. And the left side to my strong side, Mr. Awthentik is in the building.
Left side.
Strong side. Let's go.
I'm not feeling you, too much on this Sunday morning. After that win y'all just snagged from my New York Giants, the league just came out and said that my man Dexter Lawrence was not offsides, but you know how football goes. They're not about to give us back no win. Good game from the Washington football team, man. Way to take that W on Thursday, brother.
Yeah, I mean, it was a crazy game, back and forth, but we had a great time. Shout out to the Giants fans. Giants fans was in there deep. They was definitely holding it down. So, I'm excited. I spent like 3 hours last night digging into numbers and trying to figure out, how I was going to build my lineups for this week. So I'm super excited. I'm stoked. I'm ready to get this show rocking and rolling. Hopefully we can win some people some money. Don't forget, if you guys have any questions as far as who to play in your fantasy lineups, make sure you put those in the chat and we will get to them as best as we possibly can as we go throughout the show. What we're going to do is we're going to go through each and every single game. We're going to give you the best plays that we think as far as players for fantasy football. We're going to pick the overs. We're going to pick the unders. We're going to pick against the spread. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of information. Hopefully we can help you guys win some dollar
Hey,
bill.
Can we talk about last week real quick, though, man?
Yeah. Awthentik was killing it last week.
Yeah, man, that Texans pick, that was a solid one right there, man. That Pittsburgh Steelers over the Buffalo Bills, that was another good one. I had another little sneaker. You know what team really let me down on week one was the Minnesota Vikings, man. I really thought they were going to come back, take that game from the Bengals. And, they kind of failed in overtime. I feel like they had a lot of opportunities to do that, and they just fell short, man. A couple other big victories. I did pick the Giants to lose. I got that one right. And there was a couple other ones, man. Can't remember. I feel like there was one more big game that I picked well, man. But the Jaguars definitely, man, looking like the worst team in the league to me right now. Or maybe my New York Giants, man. I wore this shirt today, man. Shout out to Crooks and Castles because the Giants need some Jesus in their life, man. It's been really bad, bro. I'm hoping we get this together, man. But shout out to Daniel Jones with the big game, though.
Yeah, I mean, he had probably top 2, top 3 games of his career on Thursday night.
Yeah, a lot of people. As far as QBR goes, best game he's ever had.
Yeah, that's crazy. So I definitely have Mr. Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport on the line. So as soon as, if anything drops during the show, we will try our best to let you know. I guess we can go ahead and rock and roll into these games. What you think?
Yeah, let's get to flying. Let me get this drink ready. You already know my voice. I got a little warmed up on the Giant overreaction on Friday, that was. But, it's definitely a little raspy up in here, man. We were doing a lot of screaming at that game.
Yo, the thing that's so crazy is that, like, when you lose your voice, like, it's different than, like, when you lose your voice, like, when you're, like, got, like, a sore throat or something like that. You can feel it. Like, you don't feel it when you lose your voice. You're just like, where is it at? Where'd it go? You know what I'm saying?
You try to talk, and then it's just not there. It's just not. My cats get like that sometimes. Crazy. Like, they make the motion to meow, but, like, nothing comes out. It's kind of what's happening today, man.
Crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get this action started. Actually, let me say some hellos to the people in the chat really quick. I know I saw first we had a question in there also. Big shout out to Zach coming through, dropping the 2 thumbs up. We appreciate it as always. Bark Nasty is in the building.
What's up, Bark?
Hey, yo. Shout out
Bark
Lax.
Nasty's frustrated with them Giants, man. He's frustrated with them Giants. I feel him, bro. Shout out Lax in the building, too. What's up, fam?
He hit a $30 college parlay for $443 last night. This weekend is starting off on a high note. Shout out to you for
That's
sure.
Dope, bro. That's dope.
The college games be crazy. Them spreads be like, 50, 40 points sometimes when it'd be like Alabama versus Mercer last week. You know what I'm saying?
Or Maryland versus Howard. Whoa.
Yeah.
Saw that. Saw that, whatever that was a couple weeks ago.
I tell you, though, man, Maryland's playing pretty well, man. Tagovailoa's little brother.
Looking great, man. And shout out to my one of my artists that I work with, Chaz French. Coach Loxley, that's his uncle, man, and he promised he was going to bring me to a game, so I'm hoping to make it to a Maryland game this season, man. They're doing really well at 3-0, man, so salute to Coach Loxley on that one time.
That's what's up. And then Kalen Dragon 56 has the first question of the day. Says, what's up, boys? Jarvis Landry or Chase Claypool for my flex?
I'm going Jarvis Landry on this one. Odell Beckham ruled out for another game. Chase Claypool, I wanted to get to this in that game, but the target share was not that high in week 1. Looking for him to step that up, but I don't trust Ben Roethlisberger just yet. Give me a couple more weeks. I got Chase Claypool on a couple teams too, and I'd say by about week 3, week 4, I'm gonna have him in the lineup.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Jarvis Landry has a pretty good matchup as far as that goes. I mean, I love Chase Claypool, and I think Chase Claypool is a stud. But I think the fact that Odell's out right now is definitely, going to be a big opportunity for Jarvis Landry. So I'm going to go with Jarvis Landry for sure.
Yeah, I'm digging that.
Shout out to Edward. Says, good morning to my great duo. Still bummed about Thursday. DJ kept us in the game. Too bad the rest of the team couldn't follow. Congrats to the Washington football team for closing out the game. Maybe one day we will learn.
Yeah, I hope that one day is like tomorrow, because it's time. Giants got to step up. I think we need 2 straight.
And one of the most important questions is,
that's a great question.
Bacon, cheddar, burger, or shrimp?
See, those satisfy 2 different needs, too. The shrimp going to give you a little bit more of the fancy vibes. You know what I'm saying? I'm going bacon, cheddar, burger on a morning like this. That sounds delicious right now. And I'm a well-done kind of player. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that medium stuff, none of that.
I think I might put the shrimp on the bacon cheddar burger.
You would say that. You would say that, bro. You would say that.
Cernock, yes, my bets were pretty bad last week as well, but hopefully I'm looking to bounce back. I mean, we all know week 1, week 2, week 3 are probably going to be a lot of dart throws, but hopefully, as the season progresses, we have a little bit more data to work with, more feel on who's playing, and the snap counts and the target shares and all that sort of stuff. So keep your head up, Cernock. Hopefully you guys win your soccer game for your kids' soccer game. Cernock's coaching soccer.
Oh, yeah? That's what's up, Cernock. That's dope, bro.
Took some YouTube
I'm going to
courses.
eventually do that, man. When it's time for me to start really, getting out of my bag and start really giving back, I think me and you, we're going to have to do a little coaching, bro,
I mean, I think we should get the whole band together and just go back to Einstein and win a state championship.
Yeah, they. I don't think I'm welcome. Say that.
Shout out Lucas. Shout out Joseph Bobby.
Hey,
Nicholas
Bobby in the building. What's up, gang? What's up, Nick?
Shout out to everybody in the building. Diggy's in the building.
Hey,
Nick
what
the
up,
Wick
Diggy?
is in the building.
Nick the Wick in the building. What's up, fam? Every time I think about Nick the Wick, I think about Nick Gates, man. That leg injury, man. I hope he can come back. And shout out to Bobby and them doing they're doing Nick Gates versus the world on Twitter with a hashtag and whatnot. And man, it's getting big steam. A lot of beat writers are actually writing about that. And Nick Gates is already walking. So man, salute to him.
Yeah, that's crazy because that injury was insane. So
yo, can we get this question real quick before we go to that first game? Yeah, thank you, bro. That's exactly the one I wanted to get. So look, I don't even remember where Marvin Jones went. Where did he go again?
Jacksonville.
Okay, yeah, that's good for Jacksonville. I'm sure it didn't pan out week 1. I'm gonna go Jamar Chase. Had a big game week 1 with the 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, there's a lot of obviously both of these teams have a lot of target shares going around that wide receiver core when it comes to Jacksonville with Marvin Jones, DJ Shark, and then Laviska Shenault. And then in Cincinnati you got Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. But I think that relationship that Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow has is only going to continue to show in these games. So I think I'm going to go with Jamar Chase right now too. Yes, they're going up against the Bears, but I kind of like that matchup, to be honest with you. I think the Bears defense is not as good as we have seen in recent years. So
yeah,
Diggy with these questions are really good so far, guys.
That's a good one
Winston
too.
Or Matt Stafford?
I'll keep it a buck and go Matt Stafford. Had a really impressive week 1 performance, man. He lit up the scoreboard. Jameis, man, 5 touchdowns on 140+ yards. That's it. It was ridiculous. I don't see the Saints putting up that same kind of a performance. But today I think Jameis is going to have to prove he can sling it a little bit. But I go Matthew Stafford on this one again.
Yeah, I think I like the fact of seeing Matthew Stafford play inside again. They're playing in Indianapolis, I believe, right? Am I tripping, or is that at home?
I can double check while you get that.
Yeah, because, Stafford, that offense is going to be electric this year. And nothing against Jameis Winston, because I'm high on Jameis Winston for sure. I just think you got to roll. I have Jameis Winston on the bench with Matthew Stafford starting in one of my teams, actually.
That's the Monday night game, and it's in Green Bay.
No. Stafford, Rams.
Oh,
Rams,
I'm tripping. I'm looking for. You see how used I am to looking up Lions? Wow, that's crazy. Let me go back. Rams. It's at Indianapolis.
Yeah.
1
So
o'clock
Stafford
game,
inside. I love Stafford inside. Let's go with Stafford on that for sure.
Yep.
Simon says Randall Cobb or Lazard, both Green Bay receivers, or Elijah Moore PPR. You're in a tough spot, buddy. Because Elijah Moore I love, but Jamison Crowder's going to be back. Keelan Cole's going to be back for the Jets. So that's really going to and Elijah Moore did not show up in his first game of the season, in his first game as a rookie. Right. Randall Cobb and Lazard, you're coin flipping at that point on all three of these guys. If I had to choose one of these three guys, I'd probably go with Lazard.
Yeah, same here. Randall Cobb just getting back over there. We know he does got the chemistry with the quarterback, but I got to go Lazard on this one too, man. Just he's probably going to be the main number 2 over there, I would think.
Big shout out to Lax 044 for the $4.99 super chat. Says Kareem Hunt, Jamar Chase, DeAndre Swift, or Elijah Mitchell. I can flex. What are your thoughts? I can flex 2. What are your thoughts?
Oh, you can flex 2. Okay.
Ooh. If I had to pick 2, I'm going to go Elijah Mitchell and Jamar Chase.
I'm going to go with the middle 2. I'm going to go Jamar Chase, DeAndre Swift on this one.
Yeah, Swift, man, he's catching the rock. He's running the rock.
Elijah Mitchell, yeah, I'm going to stick with that. Jamar Chase, DeAndre Swift, more proven. Kareem Hunt, yeah, all those players are the same range, man. Kareem Hunt can go off too.
It's crazy. Shout out to James Funk checking in from Facebook. Wants to know Van Jefferson or Deontay Johnson. I'm a big Van Jefferson guy. I love him. I thought, he's going to be somebody that they're going to keep in that organization. Eventually, when they're not going to be able to afford Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. But even though he caught that long touchdown pass, he only had 3 targets in that entire game, I believe. So I think Deontay Johnson is going to get you more volume. So in because of that, I'm going to go with Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, and Deontay Johnson coming off that slow game last week, 5 catches, 36 yards. He led the league in drops last season. To me, that was just a shocker, because I thought he was a sure-handed guy. But I'm going to go with Deontay Johnson on this one, too. I like his upside in that Steelers offense.
Shout out to Sundays in the building.
Sunday, what's up, fam? Giants Nation in the building. How you living?
And we'll get to one more question before we get to the first game. Lucas wants to know, is it too early to play Cortland Sutton? Judy out, and he is a similar player to Galladay with being big wide receiver coming off the injury. I love Cortland Sutton. I know he's coming off of an injury from last year. So, just kind of, Judy's gone for, probably half the season. And then they got KJ Hamler and Tim Patrick. But I think Cortland Sutton is obviously the number 1 guy there. Yep. And I think Bridgewater is going to be throwing the rock. So I don't think it's too early to play Cortland Sutton. I have him starting in one of my season-long lineups for sure.
Yeah, I like Cortland Sutton in that matchup. With Judy out especially, definitely should get some more targets. Kind of getting his feet wet back in this offense again. I think that the other 2 wide receivers will be the harder one to choose from with Tim Patrick and KJ Hamler of who to start. But, yeah, I like Sutton in this matchup.
Yeah, I was going back and forth on those wide receivers.
He did say, is it too early, which is if you got some other depth, it depends who you got. It really depends who you got. If you're looking at, in the Colts kind of range, Michael Pittman vibes or something like that, it makes it an interesting selection. I'd probably go with Sutton. But if you got somebody else you could start who's a little more proven, I'd go with somebody else.
Yeah,
wait on Sutton a week or 2.
All right, well, we're going to start this day of the parlay with an actual NFC East matchup. Well, one team is the NFC East. It's going to be the San Francisco 49ers, who are 1-0. They are 3-point favorites at the Philadelphia Eagles, who are also 1-0. The over-under on this game is going to be 49.5 points. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is an interesting game because the Eagles, do you really know what they are yet? Because they looked really good, but it was against Atlanta.
Question.
Right? The 49ers looked really good, but it was against Detroit. So this is an interesting matchup in that aspect of overall team performance. I do like Jalen Hurts as a low-key quarterback in daily fantasy, DraftKings FanDuel today, pairing him up with Devonta Smith. And then obviously the hot name in this game is going to be Elijah Mitchell.
Big facts.
How is he going to perform after last week's performance coming in after Raheem Mostert going down? And then everybody's eyes are going to be on Brandon Ayuk. Is Brandon Ayuk gone, lost in this shuffle, or is he going to come back? Obviously, Deebo Samuel had a huge game last week. We'll see if he can capitalize on that this week. But the Eagles' defense looked pretty solid against that, supposed to have, a lot of potency in that Atlanta Falcons offense. So we're going to see what happens here. I do like San Francisco in this game. I kind of went back and forth. Like, if the line would have been at 3.5, I might have taken the Eagles, but it is down to 3 right now. All these lines and over and unders have been updated within the last hour and a half. So I will take San Francisco -3, and I'm going to take the over 49.5. I think this is going to be an interesting, fun game to watch for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on that. You covered most of the players I think you got to keep your eye on in this game. I think you got to keep an eye on Miles Sanders in the passing game. That's one thing. He definitely did his thing in the passing game week 1. And the rookie 5th rounder, man, Kenneth Gainwell, who came out number 14 for the Eagles and had a touchdown, I believe, maybe 2. I think he had 1. I know he had at least 1. And if he'll be able to get the targets and be able to stay relevant in this offense, it's something to look forward to. But, look, I'm going to keep it funky with you, man. I think the Eagles might be the best team in the NFC East right now. And people might be thinking, hey, I'm jumping the gun a little bit with the performance against Atlanta. But this is what I think a lot of people in the East are doing. They're undervaluing Atlanta. Atlanta last season, we know where the problems lied. It was on that defense. When they got rid of Quinn mid-season, they found a way to blitz and put a little bit of pressure on the quarterback, and the defense did get a little better. They didn't show up in this first game against the Eagles, but I still think that it's just we're overlooking them just a little bit. Jalen Hurts is a baller. And I think he's probably the number 1 fantasy guy in this game. And all these wide receivers got a chance to make plays in this game. Love what I saw out of Devonta Smith the first game. Like I told y'all, man, the route running is just ridiculous from that kid. So keep an eye on him. Brandon Ayuk has been pretty much relegated to a wide receiver 3 in that offense over there with the 49ers. And I'm worried about Elijah Mitchell because it's Shanahan. You never know what's going to happen. You might get some crazy, wide receiver in the backfield running the ball with Shanahan. You just never know. So, for me, the proof is in the pudding. Allow them to go out here and put the product on the field and see who's going to be taking most of these snaps. But I'm taking the Eagles in this one, man. I think the Eagles are going to win this one outright, and I don't even think it's going to be that close, to keep it real with you. You saw the 49ers last week struggle with the Lions. I saw Giants fans copping saying, how come the Lions how come the 49ers can put up so much points, and how come the Lions can put up so much points, and the Giants can only put up 7 in week 1? It's kind of difficult to talk about this because, the Giants are already and Washington already kind of finished with week 2, and we're kind of going into week 2.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, that's how I feel about that game. I'm taking the Eagles outright on this one. Shout out to homie Big Play Slay in the building, Eagles fan. And, man, I saw shout out to Lord Brunson, bro. Yo, I saw him on someone's channel just homie knows his football, bro. I really appreciate people that can really, talk about football. And, it's all off the mind. They don't really got to have no notes or nothing like that. And I'm a guy that I'm a real fan of this. And, but I still got to have my notes. I want to be confident in what I'm saying. But, Lord Brunson, bro, he was just talking that talk, man. And one thing that he said real quickly that stood out, he was nobody in the NFC East should be saying they were a good team last year. He was in a division where they were calling us the NFC least and calling us the worst division in the history of football. Winning that is not a great thing. Washington was the best team, but let's keep it funky. These were 4 bad teams when Dak Prescott got knocked out. So I thought that was interesting commentary from the dude, man. I ended up following him yesterday, man.
It definitely was hard to call ourselves the best division in football.
Oh my God, it was so difficult. Yeah, it's the name of the show, so we're kind of in an odd situation here with the name of the show being the best division in football when you got your division winner going 7-9. But yeah, that's how I feel about that game. Give me the Eagles one time on that. Oh, that's a good one right there too.
Damian Harris or Melvin Gordon. This for me is easy. Damian Harris. Damian Harris touched the ball 23. He had 23 carries. That's not even counting any targets he had on the receiving end. But he had 23 carries, which was the 3rd most in the league on the first week of football. And Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, I think, is going to be the guy there. But Melvin Gordon, was one of the only running backs to go over 100 yards, but 70 of those 100 yards came on one play. So I'm going to go with Damian Harris.
That was a bit fluke. I'm going to go with Damian Harris as well. I know he might be a little bit in the doghouse with the fumble that he had last week. I believe that was him. There was 2 fumbles from the running back committee over there. But, yeah, I'll take Damian Harris on that one, too. I had a couple of notes for that game coming up as well. That's our next game.
Speaking of, the next game on the docket is going to be the New England Patriots, who are 0-1. They are a 6-point favorite at the New York Jets, who are also 0-1. The over-under is 42.5 points. This game kicks off at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a battle of 2 first-round rookie quarterbacks in Mac Jones and Zach Wilson.
Who?
Everybody already knows the narrative. As we gotta get a phone number to go up on there every time we say it. But everybody knows the narrative about Bill Belichick against rookie quarterbacks, and how that defense usually holds them to a certain low number of production. This game is kind of crazy. Like, there's not a lot going on here. I kind of like the Patriots defense in this situation. Zach Jones definitely, Zach Wilson, look at me, Zach Jones. Zach Wilson showed some promise on a couple of throws last week, and I really, I know I talked about this last week, and I hope you guys listened and you played him because he did score 2 touchdowns, and that's Corey Davis for the New York Jets. So I really kind of like that chemistry that they're building between Zach Wilson and Corey Davis. So that's definitely a matchup you guys want to watch out for. 6 points seems like kind of a lot. I like the Patriots to win this game. I think the Jets cover, though. I think this is around a 5-point win. So I'm going to take the Patriots on the money line. I'll take the Jets to cover. And I'm going to take the 42.5. They do so well on these numbers.
I know they do. About 20.
I'm going to take the over.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I think the Patriots are going to take this game, and I think they'll cover the 6. It's 42.5.
Yep.
I'm going to take the over in this one as well. Corey Davis is a tough one, because he's a guy, man, don't forget, top 10 draft pick at wide receiver, struggled with the Titans, definitely had a great week 1. I'm not too sure about him, but I do think in the PPR league you do start him. Some other names to keep an eye out for is Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson. Both of them had fumbles in their game last week, so I don't know what's going to happen as far as running back goes. I feel there's one more player that Bill Belichick can activate as far as a running back. They got another young dude over there. Jonnu Smith's coming into this game with an injury. That's something to keep your eye on, too. I don't know if he's going to be active or not. And let's not forget Jamison Crowder coming back also with the groin and from COVID. So if he can be a part of this offense, I like Jamison Crowder, but I think it's a little bit too early to maybe start him in any lineup just yet. But, yeah, I think it's pretty easy here. Yeah, give me the Patriots in this game. They're going to come out fired up, man. And I think we haven't seen the best of Mac Jones at all yet. Just a very mild game, as far as week 1 goes. I'm looking for him to light it up, and that 6 is going to look like nothing for them. So give me the Patriots in this one. I think they'll cover, and I'm going to take the over.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup for sure. This is a good question. Javonte Williams or Elijah Mitchell? Look, I think you have to play Elijah Mitchell until further notice. There's no Raheem Mostert. San Francisco likes to run the ball. Until you get an idea, he was a hot hand last week. Trey Sermon's activated, so we'll see if how he's gonna jump into this rotation. They also signed another guy off the street, I believe, Cannon or something like that. So, Javonte Williams I'm high on, but in this situation, I think Elijah Mitchell, he was one of only a few running backs to go over 100 yards last week. I think you just run with Elijah Mitchell for now.
I'm going Javonte Williams on this one. The Giants' run defense was really good against the Broncos, and Melvin Gordon, had that fluke run. I think he's the guy. He had some, as far as how his style is, he's straightforward. That's what I like about him. So I'd look for him to get big chunks, a lot of first downs, and probably find his way into the end zone when they get close to the goal line. So I'm going to go Javonte Williams on that one, Lex.
And the next game on the docket is going to be the 1-0 Cincinnati Bengals, who are heading to Chicago to play the Bears, who are 0-1. The Bears are actually a 1.5-point favorite. The over-under is 44.5 points. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Awthentik, tell me what you got.
I got Jamar Chase. I like Jamar Chase in this game. And, you know, when I was looking up some of these numbers, man, one thing that surprised me last year is A.J. Green only had 68 targets when he was over there with the Bengals. That was just kind of interesting. And the next guy was T. Higgins with 61. It's kind of strange to me. Joe Burrow's a guy you probably want to sit. Doesn't look like the Bengals are trying to, let the leash off of him so early coming back from the injury. Didn't throw the ball too much last week and whatnot. David Montgomery, man, we talked about him a little bit off air, man. 100-yard rusher last week. That dude's, it's like when he's healthy, he seems to be getting 100 yards every time. Even though he had his first 1,000-yard season last season, I think Dave Montgomery is hitting his prime. And I think Bears fans are just like, yo, when can we see Justin Fields? You know, so I just want to throw that out there.
I think it's more than just Bears fans. I feel like it's like NFL fans in general. Facts,
man, facts. But yeah, as far as the game goes, Bears minus 1.5. Ooh. I'm taking the Bengals outright in this one. I think the Bengals win this game, and I'm going to take the over on this one, over the 44.5. I don't know, man. The Bengals team came out last week, surprised me against the Vikings. I think the Vikings are a better team than the Bears, so give me the Bengals in this one.
I'm right there with you. I am all over the Bengals in this game. I'm hoping that we didn't get fooled by that Week 1 performance, but I am all over the Bengals this game. I'm going to take the Bengals outright. I'm also going to take the over on the 44.5. And, you know, as far as players, I really like Darnell Mooney, for this season. I think this might be an interesting matchup for him. He's a little banged up, but on the Bengals side, we're not big Joe Mixon fans because he can't really stay healthy. But
definitely not a Joe Mixon fan.
He did lead the league in carries last week. He had 29 carries. And in fantasy football, if you got a running back in the year 2021 who's touching the ball just on the ground, carrying 29 times, I mean, he's pretty much a must-play for me. I mixed him in a little bit of daily fantasy sports, too. I don't think he's somebody that people are really looking at right now, so I think he might be a sneaky pick, and I love Jamar Chase also. I'm excited for this Bengals team. I think is going to be better than a lot of people have anticipated. So we're both all over the Bengals. This is going to be an interesting game. We'll see if Justin Fields gets some significant playing time, because he did come into the game a few times on some, trickery plays last week. But we'll see how that pans out. Shout out to Mark Kokowski's in the building. What's up, Mark?
Hey, what's up, Mark? We missed you at that tailgate, brother, man. I know you got the family. We definitely missed you, man. We need you there.
All right, the next game we are going to hit is going to be the Houston Texans, who are 1-0, which sounds crazy, at the Cleveland Browns, who are 0-1. All right, listen, before we even get any further, Cleveland has lost their opening game 18 straight years, I think.
Whoa, that's crazy. We're getting kind of used to them being a pretty decent team here in, I'd say, the last, 3 years, since they've had Baker Mayfield on the roster and since they've done all these switch-ups and the coaching change with Stefanski over there. The New York Giants are the new Cleveland Browns. I just want everybody to know that. Until further notice, we are struggling. You saw that stat about we're the only team since 2016 to never be winning in a season? Come on, bro. And as far as records go, we have the worst record in the NFL since 2017, I believe. So I think we need to swap uniforms. The Browns have been performing pretty well. We saw that good performance in Week 1 against the Chiefs. I like what I saw out of them. Now, y'all know I'm high on them Texans, man. Hey, I'm high on them Texans, dog. I'm high on them Texans. Tyrod Taylor, I told y'all, Brandon Cooks, I was sleeping, right? I'm not picking them in this game. There's no way I picked them in this game.
Awthentik love to do that to you.
There's no way I picked them in this game. I don't think this is upset city here at all. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Jarvis Landry should be a guy you want to keep in your lineup here with Odell Beckham out again. I'm looking forward to seeing Odell Beckham on the field, man. Yo, I'm sick of people hating on Odell Beckham, bro.
I really
want to see Odell Beckham put up some numbers and get back to that status and prove people right in Giants Nations, or prove me right that we lost the trade. We lost the trade, man. I'm sorry, we lost the trade. And I want to see Odell get on the field, but until he does get on the field, you got to keep Jarvis Landry in your lineup, especially in the PPR vibes. Give me the Browns in this game, man. I'm gonna take the under in this one. 13.5 is a lot of
cover
points.
13.5 though?
Nah, I don't think they cover that.
That's a 2-touchdown win.
Yeah, because like I always tell you on this show and on all our shows, the Browns' identity is predicated on the run. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. It's hard to really blow out teams when you're relying on the running game unless you get some big chunks. I see them being in control for this whole game. 13.5. They love doing that. Couldn't have been 14.5, right? Yeah, I don't think the Browns cover the 13.5, but I will take this. I'll take the Browns in this game, and I think we do get to the over. 47.5, we're going to get there. Give me the Browns in this one.
Yep, I'm pretty much right there with you on all of that. I like the over. I like the Browns on the money line, but I like the Texans to cover that 13.5. Some sneaky plays in this game. Tyrod Taylor looked really well, played really well in that first week. So
Facts.
Don't sleep on Tyrod Taylor. Nick Chubb is, he's going to be Nick Chubb, I think, in this game. I expect a big game from Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. But on the other end of this game at running back, Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram might be a sleeper pick today. I have snuck him in a lot of my DraftKings and FanDuel lineups. He had 26 carries last week, the second most carries of any running back in the National Football League last week.
Do you got the yardage on him too?
I think he was at. I think he hit 89 or something like that in a touchdown.
Let me double check for you real quick because I think that is important because I'm about to
While
make a point
you do
on
that,
them real
I'm going to
quick.
bring up a question that we're going to answer as soon as we get a
85 yards.
85 yards and a touchdown, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that was a nice little stat line right there.
And real quickly, before you get to that one right there, all I wanted to say about Mark Ingram is, we have to remove that word washed. There's two words that really bother me, and with artists, it's crazy, and with football players, it's washed. We got to remove that word because a guy like Mark Ingram, I think he's still very serviceable. Granted, it was only 3.3 yards per carry, but, man, 26 carries, yeah, he's a big running back that can definitely get into the end zone around the goal line.
Washed with 26 carries, like if you're washed, you literally can't carry the ball 26 times,
Yeah,
like,
I think people think players just fall off the cliff.
Overused word.
It's so overused. I can't stand it.
So shout out to Bars and the Tuck. I don't know if we've ever seen this name before in the chat, but they got a question. They said, good morning and happy week 2. Full PPR, pick 2. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Damian Harris, or Eli Mitchell. I'm gonna go
like
Damian
Clyde
Harris and I'm gonna go Damian Harris and Eli Mitchell.
Oh, pick 2. Yeah, I'm going Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Damian Harris in this one.
Nice. Interesting mix-up right there. Lax044 says Damian Harris.
Damian Harris, Elijah Mitchell question.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hot topic. Damian Harris,
man.
Elijah Mitchell, or Jarvis Landry. You can only flex one of them. Jarvis Landry,
yeah.
I think he no OBJ against Texans. Should be an interesting matchup, so that's where I'm going to go for sure.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if the Browns cover in that game, and it's kind of a blowout. And yeah, I think Jarvis Landry should be able to go off.
So next up, this is Denver Broncos. We got the Denver Broncos, who are 1-0, heading to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are not off to the hot start that I thought they would be off to. 0-1.
Let's remind the viewers about your prediction. You got them having a winning record, I believe, right, at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think that's
interesting.
Probably not one of the my better moments. Speaking of the Broncos, outside linebacker Bradley Chubb is active, according to Adam Schefter. He just hit me up on the telephone here. Got a little message from Mr. Schefter. The Broncos are 6-point favorites, and the over-under is going to be 45.5. I mean, I've been battling the Broncos wide receiver, how I'm going to play these guys between KJ Hamler and Tim Patrick. I think I'm already, putting Sutton in that number 1 spot. KJ Hamler has been somebody I've been big on ever since he came into the league last year. Tim Patrick was hurt, but has shown flashes of excellence in the past. And that KJ Hamler drop pass last week kind of didn't sit with me right, but I love his speed. And I think that, if you need somebody who's going to make up for the big plays that Jerry Jeudy's not going to be around for, I think KJ Hamler's a guy. He's super cheap on DraftKings and FanDuel this week also. So he's definitely somebody I'm going to look out for. James Robinson, I don't know what Urban Meyer's beef is with James Robinson, but Carlos Hyde was getting a lot of carries last week. And they drafted Travis Etienne, so it's there's something that's a little weird there. So I'm going to stay away from James Robinson this week. I'm actually putting him on my bench. And then as far as the game goes, I like the Broncos to win. I also think that over-under, I don't know if we might not get there. But the Broncos might put up a lot of points. I'm going to take the over. Give me the Broncos. Give me the Broncos money line to cover the 6 points, and I'll take the over 45.5 for sure.
Yeah, I like the Broncos to cover the 6 points in this one, but I'm going to take the under on this one. I think it'll be a low-scoring game, a lot more defense. I think the Broncos kind of surprised people putting up 27 on the Giants in Week 1. I like James Robinson in this game, man. He had 6 targets in Week 1 in the passing game, so you can't forget that. And I'd look for him to get a little bit more in the running department there as well. Who else I like in this one? I like DJ Chark in this one. Wow.
Yeah, he got a lot of targets last week.
He got 12 targets last week, and he finished 3rd in the NFL in total air yards. So look for him to make some big plays in this game. The Broncos, Melvin Gordon, I'm not a big fan. I think that big run was a fluke. I think you'll probably see him on the bench in a couple of weeks, not getting as much carries. And as far as Tim Patrick and KJ Hamler go, I think I keep both of them on the bench. I think Cortland Sutton's going to be the guy here, probably, even though the targets were low in Week 1. I'd look for him to get back and get his feet wet here in Week 2 and maybe come down with a touchdown. Give me the Broncos in this game. I do think they cover. I'm taking the under.
Shout out to the Life of JT. Says he shared our stream on his YouTube community tab. We appreciate the love, my man JT.
Appreciate that, JT.
You have to check out your channel, brother.
Yeah, definitely put the link in the chat.
We got some news here.
Okay.
That's going to affect some of these questions. So it looks like Colts wide receiver Paris Campbell will be out. This is, shout out to my boy Ian Rappaport. He just sent me this. Paris Campbell is out, and Denzel Mims and Jamison Crowder are both out for the Jets.
Ooh, that's major. That's major. Jets about to get. Ooh, that might be ugly. That's the thing about, when you're the number 1 pick or top 10 pick as a quarterback, in reference to the Jaguars and to the Jets, you're going to be on a bad team with a lot of problems. It's going to be hard to win games like that. So I don't know why, a lot of people have expectations for these young quarterbacks to be able to pull these teams out of the mud and then bring them into the playoffs and things like that. It's going to be very tough for them, moving forward. And you already got a bad team, and now you're dealing with injuries. So I'm definitely feeling for the Jets.
I think you have to kind of take a look at him. I mean, I know he was very disappointing last week, but without Jamison Crowder and Denzel Mims, I mean, that leaves you with Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, and Keelan Cole. I believe
there's got to be more depth out there, wide receiver.
Right? Our boy, Braxton Berrios.
Oh yeah, from last season. That's a good pool right there, yo. Hey, that last beat, that's gonna be the last couple times we hear that one on the podcast. Somebody purchased that beat and said, "Yo, I need that second beat that you played on the podcast last week. I need to buy that right now." Put a tip on the beat and everything. So that beat is out of here. Somebody's going to be rapping on that one soon.
And if anybody else needs any beats, you guys know that you can find these hot beats from Mr. Authentic. There is a link in the description.
I love hot beats.
There's a link in the description to Authentic and his beats. So definitely check that out. Next game on the docket, Buffalo Bills are heading to Miami to see the Dolphins.
I like that.
Miami. And the over-under is going to be 47.5. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This game might be a lot of fun. I love Josh Allen and Steph Diggs in this game. Another interesting name. He's not one of my, I'm not big into Mr. Cole Beasley, but he did have 13 targets last week.
Wow.
So that's kind of a sneaky guy to look at as far as, maybe sliding him in a couple of your daily fantasy football lineups. The Dolphins, I think Jalen Waddle is a star in the making. I think he's going to have another big week, especially with the news breaking that Will Fuller is going to be taking some time away for some personal reasons. So we won't see.
Oh, really? I did not hear about that.
Yeah, so because he was, he missed the first week because of the suspension, and then he was expected to come back, and At the press conference sometime during this week, Brian Flores said that Will Fuller was going to be stepping away from the team for some personal reasons, and that they wanted everybody to respect his privacy, and they're going to take it 1 week at a time right now. So hopefully everything is okay with Will Fuller. You guys know that's my boy, Notre Dame, fighting Irish.
Yeah,
so,
man. He's got a lot of talent, man, but he's
yeah.
had a really tough NFL career so far, dealing with injuries and just off the field issues and stuff like that, man. I hope whatever he's got going on, they can put a fix to that, man. He can get back on the field because he's an exciting player, man. He was a down-the-field threat, man, early on in Deshaun Watson's career, man. I was a big fan of him. I thought their duo was real nice over there.
Yeah, and I mean, this game's going to be – it's going to be a good game, I think. It's going to be close. I mean, the line indicates it, 3.5. I am going to take the Buffalo Bills to win this game. I think Miami covers at 3.5. I think they lose by 3. If you had got the line at 3, then I probably would have taken Buffalo or just stayed away completely from the game, just because I think this game is going to be so close. And I'm going to take the over on that 47.5. I think this is going to be an exciting game to watch.
I'm going to take the over on the 47.5 as well. But I like the Bills to cover here. I don't think this game's going to be as close as you think. Josh Allen needs a bounce-back game. This first week game that he had here reminds you of year 2 Josh Allen, maybe a little bit of year 1 Josh Allen. He was 58%, 270 yards and a touchdown, and you saw that Pittsburgh defense come out and handle business. Low-scoring game, too. I felt like the Bills they had a lot of opportunities to put that game away, to be honest, when I think they were up 10-0 or something early on. But I am looking for Josh Allen to bounce back and have a really good game. I'd also look for Devin Singletary in the running game here. I know it's hard to rely on Buffalo Bills running backs because they barely run the ball. They really run a pure run and shoot West Coast style type of offense where they pass short to kind of move the ball. But I'd look for Devin Singletary. Zach Moss remains inactive in this game, so that's something to look out for too. On the opposite side of the ball, Myles Gaskin, I think somebody to keep an eye on. And also in the wide receiver core is Gabriel Davis, man. I think he could be a guy, if you're looking for a wide receiver kind of down towards the bottom of your roster, he could be a guy that could probably do some things. But don't forget, he's coming into this game with a banged-up ankle. But he did participate limited in practice on Thursday, so I'd look to see for him on the field and doing his thing. He's a guy probably starting this game, but give me the Bills. I don't even think this one's going to be close. I think the Dolphins are suffering from a little bit of being overrated last season. I know they had 10 wins, but I don't think that's a 10-win team. I think that they kind of fluked out and got a couple of wins there last season, kind of boosted their value, but I'm looking for the Bills to take them out in this game, and I'm looking for their stock to drop, so by the time my New York Giants get to play them, we can get a W against them as well. Give me the Bills in this one, and I'll take the over.
So, excuse me, interesting development. It looks like Josh Jacobs is inactive as well. I haven't been able to fully confirm that, but it looks like that's what Rappaport is saying, that Josh Jacobs is out, which means Kenyon Drake will be stepping into the starting role for the Las Vegas Raiders, and I'm sure that's going to kind of spice up some daily fantasy football mix, because I'm sure you could probably get him very cheap. Speaking of Las Vegas, fans required to be vaccinated at the stadium. I mean, look, I'm not mad at it either way. I mean, I think people should probably be vaccinated anyway. So, it doesn't really matter. If you're vaccinated, you get to go to the football game. If not, then you don't get to go to the football game. I mean, it's a safe bet. I mean, and you're in Vegas too, where you got people coming in and out all the time. So it's just to me, it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not one to tell nobody what to do with the shot and all that. You know what I'm saying? I know that's a sketchy situation for a lot of people. But being that we were at FedEx Field on Thursday, I will tell you what, there was 3 times I just looked around and said, man, I am around a lot of people right now. It was packed in that stadium, bro. So yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing, man. You get a bunch of vaccinated people in one building, and you got a less likely chance of people spreading viruses and stuff like that. So that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So next game that we are rocking with is going to be the New Orleans Saints, who are 1-0. They are 3.5-point favorites at the Carolina Panthers, who are 0-1. The over-under in this game is going to be 45.5. Actually, didn't Carolina win last week? Am I tripping?
They did. They beat the Jets last week, snuck out with a victory against the Jets. This might be one of the hardest games we got. I mean, Jameis Winston, we talked about his statistics, the 5 touchdowns on 140 or 50 yards or whatever it was. Are they going to let Jameis Winston cook with the new LASIK surgery he's had on his eyeballs? Is that going to make him a better quarterback? We don't know. But he did look really good in that first game. I mean, I think if you're struggling at the quarterback position, he's definitely a guy you want to start. At the wide receiver for them, Marcus Callaway, man, he's their number one kind of guy over there, I guess. But wasn't targeted much in week 1, but we know that's because the Saints only threw the ball 21 times, so he only had 1 catch for 14 yards, so he's somebody that I think you got to sit this week. Who else was in this passing game for the Saints here? Oh, Juwan Johnson, who caught a touchdown in that game. 2 touchdown game, actually.
2 touchdowns, yeah.
I don't know if he's a guy you want to start or not, but, some of these guys, they get 2 touchdowns week 1 and you never hear about them again. I don't know. I also think Robbie Anderson needs to get a little bit more involved in the deep passing game with the Carolina Panthers. This is a really hard game for me, man. Saints favored by 3.5. I don't know what to think about the Saints because I'm just not sold on their offense yet. Y'all know I'm in love with Alvin Kamara as a running back. I really feel like the Giants need to use Saquon Barkley in a similar fashion. I don't know, man. I'm picking this one on the fly. This one's really tough. I've been picking a couple too many upsets. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take the Saints. I'm going to take the Saints to cover, and I'm going to take the over on this one.
I mean, this is going to be a fun game. Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey on the same field. I mean, that's 2 of the best running backs in the game. And in a game where, a league where the running backs are kind of, being an afterthought, I think this is a great game to kind of shine on the running back position with Alvin
we talked
Kamara
about that, man.
McCaffrey.
How many running backs had a 100-yard game this past week?
I think it was only 5, right?
Yeah, it's interesting, man, that running back is becoming, and I think that's why people are hey, don't pick the running backs high, Saquon Barkley. But I'm not one of those people. If you're a dynamic playmaker, you're a dynamic player. Where was Clyde Edwards-Helaire selected? Was he the last pick in the first round, that draft?
Something around there, yeah. Okay. I think they might have traded up a little bit to get him, a couple spots. But I'm not 100%
I think
sure.
he can be a piece for that offense too. But
yeah, Marshawn Lattimore is out for the Saints this game.
He's out for the Saints.
Yep. So I'm gonna go Saints, and I think they cover, and I'm gonna go with the over 44.5.
And before we move off this game, we got to talk a little bit about that Christian McCaffrey week 1 performance. I mean, he was the offense.
Yeah.
They were funneling everything through him, man. So, yeah, I'm looking for him to have another big game. Maybe not quite as big of a game as he did last week. Going to be hard to follow up that great performance he had. But, yeah, dude is of all those running backs that get drafted in the top 5 pretty much every year for the past 3 years, he's the one who's really stood out, man. Christian McCaffrey's a baller.
Yeah, I mean, he's catching the ball, he's running the ball, he's doing everything. I mean, literally doing everything. So, it's gonna be exciting because Kamara is like that too. He's catching the ball, he's running the ball, he's doing everything. So to see those 2 guys on the same field at the same time is gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm excited for that one for sure. Yeah. And then we did talk about Matthew Stafford earlier, and we talked about Paris Campbell being out. The Los Angeles Rams are 1-0, 3.5-point favorites, heading to Annapolis to play the Colts, who are 0-1. The over-under is 48.5. This game kicks off at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Rams, I mean, they put up quite a performance the other night, and Matthew Stafford is, he's here to put up some numbers. So I'm loving Cooper Kupp. I'm loving Robert Woods. Henderson looked fairly good, in that running back position with the absence of Cam Akers.
We didn't see any Sony Michel in that game, I don't think, did we?
He had very, very few carries. Very few carries.
Yeah, I'm seeing that Darrell Henderson played every snap, just about every snap in that game.
So that's an interesting thing to look at as well. And then the Colts, Jonathan Taylor is going to be Jonathan Taylor. He's going to be one of the best week in and week out when it comes to fantasy and in real life, in my honest opinion. Michael Pittman Jr., is he going to be able to step up? Can the Colts offensive line protect Carson Wentz? Because it felt like, that Colts offensive line is supposed to be one of the best, but it looked like they were having some trouble last week against the Seattle Seahawks, and Carson Wentz was under distress a lot. So I love the Rams in this game. I think 3.5 points is an easy pick for me. I'm going to take the Rams minus 3.5, and I'm going to take the over 48.5 as well.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Taking the Rams. I'll take the over. They'll cover the 3.5 for sure. Matthew Stafford balling. I think one of the biggest question marks is Nyheim Hines. If you're looking for depth at the running back position, last week he only had 9 carries for 34 yards, no touchdowns. So he's the kind of guy that I think you could have a big game, and ante up on his week 1 performance maybe, or he could fall back and kind of be this kind of guy all year. I have him down on the bench on one of my teams, but I think he's an interesting guy. If you're looking for running back depth, might be a guy you might want to start. And Sony Michel, man, he's the one I want to talk about too, man. I thought he was going to go over there and be a guy because Sean McVay was talking about limiting Darrell Henderson coming out of preseason, and that clearly didn't happen. He played just about every snap. But yeah, man, give me the Rams in that game and the cover, and I'll take the over. I definitely think we're going to get there.
Matthew Stafford in the dome. We're going to see how many points he puts up. He might throw for 400 yards today. We're going to see. That Colts
man, and I talked about how the Detroit Lions, as far as their over-under for wins on the year, it stayed the same as it did last year, and the same thing for the Rams. So we're really looking at Jared Goff and we're looking at Matthew Stafford to see, how does that trade impact both of those teams? The Lions did surprise in week 1. They did compete, but I think there's a little bit of smoke and mirrors there because I think the 49ers are boo-boo.
Ooh, they said Stafford sucks against good defenses. I don't think he's going to do as good as you think. Well, you know what they say,
McVay.
Steve T. We gon' see. So
that's why they play their game, Steve T.
Up next is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders, who are 1-0, and they head to Pittsburgh to face the Steelers, who are also 1-0. The Steelers are 5.5-point favorites. The over-under is 46.5 points. Raiders, Bryan Edwards. I mean, that guy, he came on strong at the end of that game last week. Hunter Renfrow had a lot of targets, but everybody knows Darren Waller's the man. If you're not playing Darren Waller in every possible fantasy football situation, whether it's daily, whether it's season long, you need to get on that. Darren Waller is the guy. He had, 19 targets last week.
Crazy.
19 targets.
It makes me wonder what the record is for targets because 19 is a ton of targets, man.
Yeah, 19 targets for Darren Waller. No Josh Jacobs, as we just learned a little while ago, so Kenyon Drake might be a sneaky play. Najee Harris for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I want to say, played every single snap on the offensive side of the ball for Pittsburgh last week as a rookie. He did not produce very well, but I think that'll come with time. Najee Harris is still dirt cheap on DraftKings and FanDuel this week. He'll probably be heavily owned. So we're going to see what happens with that. I think this game's going to be closer than a lot of people think. I mean, I know the Raiders are coming off like a crazy win on Monday Night Football, and it took a lot out of them and stuff like that. But I don't know. I'm getting these good vibes from this Raiders team. And I think that the pressure that I saw them putting on Lamar Jackson, I look at that Steelers offensive line and I look at Big Ben and I'm thinking, the Raiders might be able to get to Big Ben this week, So I think the Steelers do win the game, but I am going to take the Raiders to cover, and I do like the over 46.5 points.
I definitely like the over in this game. Both these offenses can put up some points here. And you speaking on Najee Harris, I thought he was going to come out week 1 and have a fantastic performance, relatively quiet. So I'm looking for him to definitely step up. We know about Darren Waller. My man Derek Carr out here doing things. Now, if you look at the way he won his game, what was that, in overtime with that little lollipop? What up, fam? How you living, Carlos? Hey, that Vanilla Vic thing is a thing, Carlos. I'm seeing that everywhere. And he was the first person I saw to say Vanilla Vic about Daniel Jones. So I told you we needed to trademark that, man. Hit me up, man. Hit me an email, man. Business email, bro. But I might, this is going to be another upset, I think. I'm taking the Raiders in this game. I think the Raiders are overlooked. And I think that this is the year that the Raiders are really, really going to, turn the corner, man, and be a really good team. We know that when John Gruden got over there, he had a ton of draft picks, traded away Khalil Mack, got a ton more draft picks. I think that this team is finally, you're seeing it all come together. There's a couple of players in this game I think you got to keep your eye on. I like Kenyon Drake now stepping up in the place of Josh Jacobs. And on the Steelers side of the ball, the tight end from Penn State, I believe, Pat Freiermuth, he ran 12 routes in his debut, and Ebron ran 17 routes. Now, Ebron is dealing with a hamstring injury, so I kind of like Freiermuth in this game. Might be a guy you might want to throw into the lineup if you're struggling at tight end. But look, I'm taking the over in this game, and I'm taking the Raiders in this game. I think the Raiders are going to show up, and I think they're going to win this game, pretty convincingly. When you win primetime like they did, the lights on you like that, you got to think about it, man. You swagging the whole week. I'm going Raiders in this one, man. Outright. I think they're going to take this dub.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. I kind of low-key am looking forward to watching this game. A lot of the powerhouse games are at 4 o'clock, so it's interesting to see some of these good 1 o'clock matchups. And I think this Raiders-Steelers game is kind of under the radar as far as excitement goes.
Definitely. And lastly, before we move on from that game, I think Chase Claypool is a guy that, like, you might want to sit today. You might want to watch Chase Claypool prove to you that he can actually do it, and then get him back in the game. I think it's important because he is a guy, he showed last year that he is a bona fide baller at the wide receiver position, can go up and make big catches. So, but he started off slow this first week. I'm looking for him to bounce back. He's in a couple of my lineups, but he's sitting on the bench, actually. So it's important for him to get back. He might be a guy you might want to sit, but yeah, definitely. Remember this upset pick. Raiders. I was going
to say, make sure you guys are tagging these on the timeline and making sure you know at what point in the show Awthentik was dropping the authentic bombs.
Yeah, I need to go back and give y'all. I need to make 2 highlight tapes for Awthentik and the Beard. I need to make a highlight tape for the Beard for his previews on the Washington football team versus the New York Giants game, because he hit on a lot of key points on that one. And I need to go back to my Parlay Week 1 episode and make a little highlight out of that one too, because nobody was picking the Texans, nobody was picking the Steelers Week 1, and they came out with the dubs. Hopefully I get a little highlight from this show too.
Awthentik was killing it Week 1 on the Parlay, so make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend if you trying to make some money with your friends, because Awthentik was dropping them.
Hey, but you know what we need to do? So, like, look, I got a couple of stocks and whatnot, so I follow, like, a couple of YouTubers who, they talk about stocks and whatnot, like during the stock hours and whatnot, as soon as the market opens up. And at the bottom of all their screens, it says, like, we are not a financial advisor.
Yeah.
We might need a little disclaimer like that, because when you lose your money, don't be tweeting me on Twitter talking about Awthentik, you made me lose all this money. Nah, we're not doing that.
This is not financial advice. We are not financial advisors, but we are Awthentik and The Beard, and this is the Parlay. Shout out to Nick the Wick for the $4.99 super chat. Says, can I get 3 locks against the spread? I'm gonna wait to the end, Nick, and we'll give it to you.
You sure, bro?
Yeah,
I can scroll them real quick for you. They right. All you gotta do is go to the brand right there. You can pick one right now. I got one right off the bat. I think the Bucks are gonna cover that 12.5. I think the Cardinals are gonna cover that 3.5. Yeah, my third one is going to be the Bills to cover the 3.5 against the Dolphins.
Ooh. Okay, I like the Rams minus 3.5. I also like the Cardinals minus 3.5. And
the Bills, man. I'm telling you. The Bills, bro.
And give me the Texans plus 13.5.
Those are my 3 locks. That's a good one. I like that.
Those are my 3 locks. All right. Roman says, Jarvis Landry, Julio Jones, Mike Evans. Which 2 should I start? I'm going to go Jarvis Landry and Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans has a huge bounce-back game. We're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes. So those are going to be my 2 that I would start.
That's tough, man. Mike Evans had a slow start. I think he had 1 catch in that first game. Julio Jones hasn't really got it quite going. I'm going to take a risk here, and I'm going to go Jarvis Landry, Julio Jones. Yeah, I see the head nods, Tim. You know what that is.
Yeah,
yep, I do. Shout out to homie Ethan one time.
All right. Speaking of the Minnesota Vikings and the Arizona Cardinals, my man Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins was out there playing NFL Street on the PlayStation last week. Because, Kyler Murray did some of these.
Yeah.
He looked like he was 2-stepping in the backfield, and people were diving all over the place. Not to mention Chandler Jones had 5 sacks in 1 game, a couple of forced fumbles, tackles for losses. This Cardinals team, that NFC West, we've talked about it. I want to say that there was somebody who said Kyler Murray was trash, and I just want to remind that person that Kyler Murray is playing video games, because
Kyler Murray is balling.
It is insane. I love this Cardinals team. I really, really do. I think that they are awesome. And it's the Vikings, man. I feel like the Vikings, like, they just
No
never
defense,
feel like
man.
that. I never feel good about the Vikings anymore. And it's unfortunate because I think this game is going to be one of the best games to, center your fantasy teams around when it comes to DraftKings and FanDuel. I love Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins. It's a little bit difficult because Kyler Murray is expensive. But, I mean, even with Kirk Cousins, I think Kirk Cousins is going to have to throw the ball a lot. Adam Thielen looks really good. Then you have Justin Jefferson still. So, there's a lot of plays in this game. Christian Kirk was one of the most added players when it comes to the waiver wire this past week. And then don't forget about Rondale Moore, the rookie wide receiver from the Arizona Cardinals. There's a lot of firepower in this game. And when I'm building lineups for, DraftKings and FanDuel, one of the biggest things I look at is the total of the over-under. Because that's where the most points are going to be scored, and I kind of want to center my teams around there. And a lot of those teams and games are in the 4 o'clock hour. So I am going to take the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to take them to cover the spread and over the 50.5.
Yeah, I think you covered pretty much everything on this game. There's a lot of fantasy power going on here. Christian Kirk, he's known to have a big game and then kind of be relatively quiet the following week. I think this is a tough start for him, but with 2 touchdowns, I believe, last week, you probably want to keep him in the lineup just to see what he can do. A.J. Green is another one that you kind of on the threshold there of like, do we sit him? Do we start him? I'm not too sure about A.J. Green, but he has looked better in this Cardinals offense, and I do got high hopes for him in that offense. I think it's a much better situation than it was for him in the Bengals. What's up with Irv Smith? He's out in this game again.
Yeah, he's been out. I think he's out for a long time. He had a torn meniscus or something like that.
Yeah, and then I'd also keep my eyes on James Conner, man, who he's getting some yards on the ground, but with my eyes, he's not passing the eye test, man. He looks really slow.
Yeah, Chase Edmonds is just a different sort of running back, too. So you can even slide some Chase Edmonds in your lineups for sure. This is Sebastian. I missed your question earlier, so I'm going to get to it really fast. Amari Cooper is on my bench. That's all I need to hear. Get him off your bench.
Facts.
Put him in your lineup.
Immediately.
He had 17 targets last week, not to mention the incredible stat line that follows after that 17 targets. Allen Robinson, Mike Evans, DJ Moore. I mean, you can replace Amari Cooper with any 3 of those guys. If I had to choose one, I would probably take out Allen Robinson until Justin Fields becomes that starting quarterback.
So Panthers got a tough test today. That Saints defense is no sleeper. I normally like DJ Moore in this mix. That's really tough. I think I swap out Amari Cooper for Mike Evans. You got good depth there, man. Flip a coin on that one. You got some good wide receivers there for sure.
Yeah. You got a lot of options. Another question is, should I start Nyheim Hines, I'm assuming that is, or James Conner? James Conner. Nyheim Hines isn't going to get as much touches as James Conner is.
Yeah. Talked about Nyheim Hines when we were breaking down that game. I think it was 9 carries for like 34 yards or something like that. So, yeah, I'd probably stay away from him until he proves he can ball out, and I'd go James Conner in that one too.
And then my man, C-Bands never stays lacking 45. Do I start Henderson over Mike Davis? I would just, I don't know. Mike Davis got a little bit more to prove to me, and I think Henderson had a great game last week. I mean, the only thing about Henderson is in a PPR sort of situation, which 90% of the people these days are playing PPR. If you're not playing PPR fantasy league, you're like 75 years old. So, I mean, I'm going to go
Shout out to the senior citizens one time, though.
I'm going to go with Henderson for sure. Henderson's
I'm with you on
guy.
that. We're going Henderson on that one, too. He was on the field pretty much the whole game.
And shout out Clutch B-Ball TV. I appreciate the congratulations on the faux show. All right. Where are we going to go next? Next game is another shootout battle game. Big fantasy implications. It is the Atlanta Falcons, who are 0-1, heading to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are, of course, 1-0. Tampa Bay is a 12.5-point favorite. The over-under is 51.5. This game kicks off at 1 o'clock p.m. What's really interesting about this game is Atlanta going to bounce back? Is Atlanta going to bounce back?
Right.
Is their offense good, or is it like, are we going to see like the offense we saw against the Eagles? That Tampa Bay defense is statistically pretty good. We've seen what they can do, even though they gave up a lot of points to the Dallas
secondary
Cowboys.
Struggled a little bit in that last game.
And they got some injuries for sure. I'm looking for Kyle Pitts to make those numbers match the amount of time he's on the field and the targets that he's receiving this week.
Yeah, 8 targets. He was on the field for 68% of the snaps.
Yeah, so I'm looking for Kyle Pitts to have finally had that breakout game. Tampa Bay, it's going to be tough moving forward picking these guys, because it's like in fantasy, because you pick, let's say you pick Tom Brady, Mike Evans, and Antonio Brown, and then Godwin goes off. Or you pick Mike Evans, Godwin, and Antonio Brown, and Mike Evans goes off. It's just, you don't know. And then at running back, good luck, Chuck, figuring that out. Because, it looks like Fournette's probably the guy, but, that can change at any point in time.
Definitely sit Ronald Jones, man. The fumbles, I'd look for him to be in the doghouse this game a little bit, man.
It's definitely possible. But I obviously like Tampa Bay to win this game. I think they'll cover the 12.5, and I'm going to take the over 51.5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I got Tampa Bay. I think they'll cover the 12.5. We'll get to the 51 or the 51.5. This is a really important game. 2 weeks into the season, you can usually gauge what's going on with a football team. And are the Bucs really as scary as they appear to be, or did they just make a fantastic run at the end of the year and get hot right when they needed to? We know they got the GOAT over there. They got a lot of weapons offensively. There's a lot of different people you can start in this game. Mike Evans was 4th on the team in targets, which is really interesting to me. I don't know if he was a decoy for week 1 or what, but definitely sit Ronald Jones. You might want to sit Leonard Fournette. We got him on the roster. You might want to sit him. Both these dudes was just straight up lunching last game. I'm as you are. I want to see Kyle Pitts in this game too. I want to see what he can do. A lot of people are high on Kyle Pitts coming out that draft. Yeah, this one's going to be interesting. It wouldn't surprise me if Atlanta covers, but I think if I'm just going to go with my gut here and how bad Atlanta looked week 1 against that Philadelphia Eagles offense, I'm looking for Tom Brady to go out here and light this up, man. Jalen Hurts, I think he's a really good quarterback, but he's no Tom Brady. Tom Brady should be able to mastermind and pick this defense apart. So give me the Bucs. Cover the 12.5. 51.5, we're going to get there.
Ooh, Nick the Wick. $1.99 super chat says Corey Davis, Darrell Henderson, or Damian Harris in the flex. Ooh, that's so tough. Because, look, you guys know, if you watch week 1, I am big on Corey Davis this year. But, that Patriots matchup kind of worries me a little bit. But you know what? I'm going to stick to my gut. I'm going to go Corey Davis.
Man. I cannot put faith in Corey Davis. I'm sorry. I just can't. He got to prove to me more that he's actually a guy. I'd flip a coin, Darrell Henderson or Damian Harris, because Damian Harris, the thing is like the fumble last week, So, how much is that going to put you in the doghouse? You going to have the head out the doghouse, or, you're going to be all the way in the doghouse in the shadows where we can't see you? Don't know. So, I think Darrell Henderson's probably the safer play. You know what I'm saying? But Damian Harris might be a guy with more
all I could picture when you gave that analogy was Sandlot, the big dog.
Right. The beast. I wouldn't have went and got that baseball. I'm going to keep it 100.
We would have done some stuff, though. Like how they tried to make that.
A hanger and a rope or something. We did something. They tried to use a vacuum and a whole they was doing all kind of stuff. I got to go back and watch that movie. Oh, speaking of movies real quick, man, I watched that new Candyman last night. Bro, that joint is really good.
Yeah.
Really, really. The cinematography in the new Candyman is solid. As far as my camera vibes lately, I've kind of been a little bit uninspired. As far as just creating with my camera, I'm a videographer, cinematographer. I do a bunch of stuff. And after seeing Candyman, bro, that, it made me really want to pick up my camera and get to working on some kind of short film or some kind of documentary or something. Just great shots, and the acting, they went real Queen and Slim kind of vibes, dark looks with dark-skinned people. It looks so awesome, man. And Candyman was a 7 for me. I thought it was really good, and that movie really sticks out from our childhood, because I'm going to tell a quick story real quick. Hopefully we can get them out of this.
I was going to ask you to tell it. So
I had a homie who lived across the street from us. Shout out my homie Chris. When we watched Candyman in my basement, the original Candyman, 1992, he had to call his pops to come pick him up from across the street. He was like, and he's Spanish, so he was like, "Papi, come pick me up." His dad was like, "Chris, get over here." I just remember Chris running across the street, like literally about to drop one in his pants, bro. Like it was terrible how scared he was. And I remember my dryer came on during the movie and everybody got all scared and whatnot. So shout out to Candyman. I wanted to plug that because it was a really good movie.
Candyman.
Yeah, Candyman. You know, the bees and all that. It was a solid flick, man. I enjoyed watching that yesterday with my girl.
I've told that story to so many people, especially like my fiance who's never seen the original Candyman. I'm like, y'all don't know what scary movies were a different breed back then.
They were different
than they are now. Like, you gotta always watch the original. Shout out to Cernock. I love it too because every time I laugh, she follows me up on the beat with the laugh too.
That's funny. Yo, let me tell you what this beat was actually for. We kind of running out of time, but real quick, this beat was for so Shantae's uncle, one of my homegirls from around here, her uncle was the host of Live PD, and they were looking for submissions for the theme song for his new show before everything fell apart with Live PD. You can go look that up for yourself. Live PD had a case that everything just kind of fell apart with that show. But I created this for that, submitted it, didn't get selected, but I always kept it in the stash. I always love that beat, man.
Yeah, it's authentic beat. It's a banger. That's what we do here.
I appreciate you, man.
Next game on the docket is going to be the Tennessee Titans, not the Albert Einstein Titans. They are 0-1 at the Seattle Seahawks, who are 1-0. The Seattle Seahawks are 6.5 points favorites. The over-under is 54.5. Kickoff is at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is another game I'm targeting because looks like it's going to be a fairly high-scoring game. That over-under is 54.5. I'm loving Russell Wilson, DK Lockett, and
DK Metcalf.
Look, I love them so much, I've made them into one.
Yeah,
DK
right.
Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Give me Russ, DK Lockett. That's who I want playing today. And, Derrick Henry had a kind of like a not bad, but underwhelming performance in week one. We're looking for him to bounce back. He's still very expensive on DraftKings and FanDuel, but that might kind of steer people away from him, and this looks like an opportunity for him to have one of those breakout games. I think this game's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm a little worried about that Seattle Seahawks -6.5. I think Seattle wins the game, but I think Tennessee covers that spread. And I love that over under 54.5 seems pretty insane, but Tennessee's defense is pretty bad. I'm going to take the over.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. I'm going to take the over, but I'm looking for the Seahawks to cover the 6.5. Running back situation with the Seahawks is a little bit interesting. We know Chris Carson been balling out, but Rashard Penny is going to be out, I believe, for multiple weeks with a calf injury. Alex Collins might be a little bit of a sleeper pick, maybe close around the goal line. I believe he was with the Ravens a couple years ago. But I think you already covered most of the players in this game. Julio Jones might be a guy you might want to take the risk on starting. I don't know. It is Julio Jones, and he's healthy, so he's going to be on the field. I'd look for him to maybe make some plays in this game, but give me the over. Give me the Seahawks to cover the 6.5. I think this one might turn into a blowout. I messed around and had Tyler Lockett on my bench last week. Don't make the same mistake that I did. Make sure you put him in the game like I did for this week. Looking for him to ball out. All the wide receivers on the Seahawks should have a pretty good game in this one, man. And yeah, give me the Seahawks on this one. That's a 4 o'clock game. I'm definitely going to keep my eyes on that one.
Look, these 4 o'clock games are fire. Speaking of a crazy 4 o'clock game with a crazy over-under, the 0-1 Dallas Cowboys are heading to Los Angeles to face the Chargers, who are 1-0. Once again, this is a 54.5 point over-under total. The Chargers are favored by 3 points. I am excited to see this game. I have got a ton of Justin Herbert lineups with Keenan Allen. The Cook at tight end is low-key somebody you might want to check out. Dallas Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb, and Amari Cooper.
Why can't I think of Cook's first name right now?
Who?
Cook, the tight end. What's his first
name?
Jared Cook. I couldn't remember his first name for a second.
So I think this game is going to be a crazy shootout game. Now, if you're playing, Justin Herbert and these stacks from this game, and your 1 o'clock players don't do well, you're gonna have to switch all these guys out of your lineups because everybody and their mama is going to be playing Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, Keenan Allen, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper.
Yep.
There's just, this game's going to be crazy.
Now, there's one guy you left off that list that I think is a guy who's on the cusp of things, and that's Mike Williams.
Yeah, Mike Williams. I mean, he had a breakout game last week.
Yeah.
But I think he's probably going to be the guy that most people are probably going to own because, his salary is going to be really cheap and he's not the big name. So people think they're going to be a little bit different. Take Mike Williams. But, it's going to end up being heavily owned Mike Williams. And, in those larger tournaments, you want to have somebody a little bit under-owned. But I love Mike Williams. I think that's going to be there's stars all over the place. Cedric Wilson is going to have to step up for the Dallas Cowboys because no Gallup.
Yeah, and Cedric Wilson, he's a baller. He's in the mix on special teams, on returns and stuff like that. And he's a quick wide receiver. I really like him. I think he's a bit, with Michael Gallup ahead of him, it's hard for him to really get the touches. That's the biggest problem, I feel like. But I think he can step up in that role, no problem. And if he shows out today, you might see Michael Gallup take a back seat when he comes back.
It's going to be interesting. I'm staying away from Zeke Elliott, though. That's 100% sure.
Zeke Elliott is doing other things besides running the ball. Shout out to him, man. Go look at him in the
those
passing
blocks.
game. Oh, my
those
God.
Blocks,
he's laying
those blocks
people
that
out.
he's picking up on the blitz were amazing last week.
So who you got in this game, though? Because this is probably the toughest game for me to pick.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chargers, and I'm taking if I would not bet this game if I was betting
right
at 3-point spread, but I am going to take the Chargers, and I think they cover the 3-point spread, and I'm going to take the over.
I'm going to take the Chargers in this game. I'm going to take the over as well, but I think it's going to be a 3-point game. I'm looking for the Chargers to win this like 30-27 probably. Yeah, I don't like the spread either. So, yeah, that's how I feel about that one. And lastly on this, it's kind of a must-win already for the Cowboys. What a tough schedule for them to start the year off with 2 tough games, but then it kind of flattens out here and gets a little easier for them these next couple of weeks.
Bro, think about it like this. If the Chargers can pull out this victory, right, and the Raiders can pull out a victory in Pittsburgh, because those are kind of the 2 ones that you're going to be looking at in Kansas City, which we're going to talk about really fast.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole division could be 2-0 again.
Yeah.
I mean, to win again this week, and that whole division could be 2-0.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, look for them Raiders to step up, man. And the Chargers are a team that are high on a lot of people's radar. Only 7 wins last season. And now people looking at them as a 10-win team, and probably be making a run for the playoffs. So I'm looking for the same thing, man. Chargers got the quarterback. That quarterback's going to be in the MVP conversation within the next 2-3 years max.
Facts. And I mean, to have Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes in that same division 2 times they're going against each other.
Crazy. Derek Carr, who's the fourth wild card in that?
Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater with the Broncos. They might take the best division in football this year. We'll see.
It's the AFC West or the NFC West, right?
Yep.
That's where we're at.
That's fact.
Speaking of the AFC West, the Sunday night football game is the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, 1-0, 3.5-point favorites at the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, 0-1, over-under, 53.5. Kickoff is at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Look, I like Kansas. This game, it's going to be a lot of fun. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. Yeah. I like Kansas City to win.
Lamar Jackson has never beat Patrick Mahomes, right?
Nope, never beat Patrick Mahomes.
And he's got an 80% winning percentage as a quarterback. And I'm sure a lot of that percentage knockoff is coming from Patrick Mahomes. He's faced him a couple times already, at least.
Yep. And I'm going to take Baltimore to cover the spread, though. And I also am going to take the over 53.5. Kansas City Chiefs never covered the spread the last 18 weeks, so I'm going to take
you saw it against
Baltimore.
the Browns last week too.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to take Baltimore to cover, especially if you can get at 3.5, because this will probably be a close game. But I think Kansas City ekes out with a victory.
Yeah, keep your eyes on Tyson Williams. We talked about this a little bit off air. You were saying they struggled in the pass blocking. That's the reason why they brought in Latavius Murray. Latavius Murray might get some more carries in this game, too. That's going to be interesting. I really want to pick the Ravens in an upset here. I feel like this is a must-win game for Lamar Jackson. Kind of. It's early, but it's like you don't want to fall down 0-2. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I like going with the gut. I'm going to take the Ravens in the upset in this game. I'm going to take the over. I think it'll be a high-scoring game, and I think the Ravens are going to win this game by about 4 points. What's up, Roldy, in the building one time? How you living? Marquise Brown is injured, too, coming into this game. That's another thing to keep your eye on. He was held out of practice both Wednesday and Thursday, which isn't a good sign for him. I'd kind of keep your eye on the injury report here, see if he's going to get on the field if you got him in your lineup. But yeah, I'm taking the Ravens outright, and it's I know I'm going out on a limb here. This is the
it's
Chiefs.
not really though. Like
and
the Ravens,
because you talked about it not covering, I think that the Ravens are a team that can ball with them. Go back and look at the game where the Ravens played the Browns last year. They played them really well, and the Browns came out week 1 and really put up a good test for the Chiefs. So I think the Ravens can go out here and compete. I think it'll be a close game. I'm looking for the Ravens. It's prime time, Lamar Jackson. I'm looking for him to have some big runs and make some adjustments in the play calling for the Ravens. And yeah, I got the Ravens in this one. I'm going all out.
That's what I'm talking about. Awthentik making the big boy decisions over here.
Yes, sir.
Monday Night Football. Detroit Lions, who are 0-1, they head to the Green Bay Packers, who are...
Hey, shout out the graphics department for Awthentik and The Beard one time, getting the home team colors on the matchup overlays.
Yeah,
I am the graphics department. The Beard is my production assistant. So shout us out one time.
Yeah. I tell you what's crazy is that the Packers are 0-1.
Yeah, and
that's
they put
what's
up,
crazy to me.
Man, Aaron Rodgers gave me 1.3 points in the first game. I lost by 4 points in my first fantasy game.
I showed Awthentik a lineup. I know we're going to get out of here, but I showed Awthentik a lineup at the tailgate this Thursday night. And the lineup looked like a solid lineup.
It was like a Pro Bowl lineup.
And they had 15.4 total fantasy points. Imagine Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback and your entire team combined scored 15.4 fantasy points. Absolutely insane. I mean, Green Bay has to come back, right? There's no way that Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers show up to Lambeau Field on primetime Monday Night Football and lay
against the Lions.
Against the Lions. There's no way. There's just no way. Give me the Green Bay Packers. Give me the Green Bay Packers covering 12.5. Give me the over 48.5. Green Bay might score 48 points by themselves on Monday night.
Facts. That's facts. I'm right with you on this one, man. I'm taking the Packers in this one. Some injuries to look out for is Jamal Williams had a chest injury. He was limited in practice on Thursday as well. We talked about Lazard at the wide receiver position. Maybe he can be a guy to step up, or if it'll be Randall Cobb. Jared Goff threw the ball 57 times last week. That's pretty crazy. I'm looking for the Packers to go out here and just make this a blowout, 31-10 or something like that for the Packers. So I will take 31-10 would put us the under, wouldn't that?
Yeah, yes.
I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take the under in this one. I think the Packers cover the negative 12.5 though.
Big shout out to Roldy for the $5 super chat. Says, what up, fellas? Hope y'all doing well. The Beard, great to see you. Should I start my Haitian brother, Sony Michel?
Sac passe. No, do not start Sony Michel today. Darrell Henderson almost had every snap in that game, and I don't know why that is. Maybe there's something going on, something underlying with Sony Michel, but I'd wait till he proves that he can ball out first before I put him in my lineup. Definitely sticking with Henderson on this one.
Man.
Give me your thoughts on that one, too, because that question was directed towards you.
No, I can't start Sony Michel.
No.
Just not enough touches. Not enough touches.
Answer, right?
I mean, if you had a dire situation, which we're getting to that point here with some of these running backs going down early, then I understand. But I would just definitely keep him stashed on your bench because they did trade for him.
Yeah.
So I just think he's kind of they're working him into this offense. So definitely hold on to him. I just wouldn't, start him quite yet.
Yeah, and it could be a system thing. McVay does run a pretty intricate system over there. And, you got to have a running back who can pass block. It's very important. I think that's something that a lot of people in fantasy overlook is why a guy's not on the field. It could be because of just scheme and also protection. That's an important thing. So, being that he's new over there, just got traded over there, I would just wait just a little bit, until he could show that he's actually doing some of the similar things he was doing when he was a Patriot as well. But yeah, I mean that should be a blowout game. I don't like that that's the Monday night game. That kind of bothers me because it's not an interesting game. I'm probably going to be playing some Xbox during that game. Keep it 100, dog.
Or you got to at least check in on Aaron Rodgers. Make sure he's not giving you 1.4 points again.
I might just turn a blind eye to this one, and if he do something crazy like that, it's time to put my other quarterback in.
Yo, if that ends up being that. Man,
oh, yeah, and I told you that man looking a little old, man. Everybody ain't Tom Brady. I be watching Aaron Rodgers when he pulls up to the Pat McAfee show, and he looking old, man. He's looking old, looking rusty, like he's supposed to be at the bar.
He's looking like Keanu Reeves in like the Matrix 12.
Yeah. Aren't they working on a new Matrix right now?
There's a new Matrix about to come out, Doug. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they should have just left that alone. Matrix 1 is the best movie ever.
Yeah. It's mind-blowing. It's so ahead of its time. One last question before we get out of here. Mr. James Funk. Shout out to James Funk for holding us down on Facebook and says, would you start Hurts over Stafford? I would not mind that start. I mean, listen, it depends all on your league because you got to factor in the fact that Jalen Hurts on the ground right now in today's NFL is giving you starting running back numbers.
Yeah.
Think about all the running backs that they're like 90% of the running backs ran for less than 100 yards. Jalen Hurts put up, 60-something yards rushing last week, but has the capability to put up 80 yards. So you put that with the other stats as a quarterback. I mean, it's just hard to get away from.
Yeah, and let's not forget the 49ers defense looked pretty bad last week against a team that we thought would be at the bottom of the league in the Detroit Lions. So I like Hurts in this game. And I'm taking some risk with Hurts. I think that like that week 1 is just like an example of Sirianni simplifying the game plan. Like, it was a perfect game plan, but also we don't know what the Atlanta Falcons bring to the table. So I think week 2 is really pivotal. To see what the Atlanta Falcons do in week 2 against the Bucs, to kind of gauge what team they are moving forward and how you're going to play against them, quarterbacks that are facing them. And also with Jalen Hurts here having a better test in the 49ers defense here this week. But I'm going Hurts in this one. I think Stafford's going to put up big numbers, but I think Hurts gives you that ability to run the ball, maybe get a rushing touchdown and some passing touchdowns, and have a big day fantasy-wise.
Okay, Roldy is in a jam for sure. Shout out Roldy for the $5
He said
super
for
chat.
sure.
Yeah, okay, so he has Zach Moss, who's inactive, Mostard, who's on the IR, or done for the year. He needs to pick up a running back to play today. See if you can. Kenyon Drake's probably already picked up.
Yep. Alex Collins, man, might be a sneaky pickup for maybe to get you a touchdown around the red zone, maybe, but it also could fall flat too.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to you're gonna have to start Michelle, obviously, for one of them. But I mean, like, otherwise, yeah. I mean, if you can get Latavius Murray, get Latavius Murray. If you can't, maybe Mark Ingram's. Yeah, Latavius Murray, Kenyon Drake, maybe Mark Ingram's still out there. James White for the Patriots. Ramondre Stevenson is inactive today. So James White will get you some catches, maybe, more carries behind Damian Harris.
What about Kenneth Gainwell? You think he might be out there
Kenneth
too?
Gainwell's a good one too. I'm not mad at that at all.
He had a touch last week.
Yeah, Kenneth Gainwell.
It's probably too early. But the Ravens scooped up Devonta Freeman as well.
Yeah.
It's probably too early with Latavius Murray over there kind of looking like he's going to be the guy too.
Yeah, so hopefully that'll help you. I mean, right now, your best case scenario is to try and find some of these backup running backs to some of the injured running backs or the inactive running backs. You still got 30 minutes, so hopefully, that'll help you. We'll go 2 more questions in really fast. Breida is definitely a possibility too.
Tony Jones in New Orleans too, possibly.
Tony Jones in New Orleans out of Notre Dame. He's got some ball in him.
Yeah.
Ethan Hartman, pick 2, PPR. Godwin, Moore, Brown. If it's daily, I would love to stack the 2, but I just said it's so difficult for me to put 2. I mean, you put 2 Tampa Bay players on your team, and then it ends up being a Mike Evans day, you're screwed. So give me Antonio Brown and DJ Moore.
Yep, I'm right there with you. Nothing else to add to that.
And then last question, Simon Coleman, Damian Williams, or Mark Ingram? Mark Ingram. Yeah. All you need to know is 26 carries last week.
Yeah, going Mark Ingram in that one too.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have guided you through a whole another weekend of the NFL. This is the Parlay with Awthentik and The Beard. Hopefully everybody has gotten some information that'll help them win some money, win some fantasy football matchups, and also enjoyed yourselves and had a good time your Sunday pregame show with Awthentik and The Beard.
I always dig these shows, man. Super laid back, and it's kind of like we all helping each other, man, in the fantasy here. The great questions coming from the chat. And, we're going to try to provide as much information as we can. I was pretty decent. We didn't tally up the picks, but I'm going to go back and tally up the picks from last week. I was on fire, man. I know the Bengals won. I lost that. Shout out to the homie Ben Ball. You one time in the building, too. And a couple other little close games. But don't forget about the upsets that I picked this week. I got the Raiders. I got the Ravens. Those are going to be the two big authentic upsets. We'll see how those pan out. If you
I
lose
like
your
both
money,
of those
don't
picks.
hit me up. Okay? I'm not responsible for your wallet. We'll keep it 100. This is just
This
advice.
is not financial advice.
No.
We are not financial advisors, but we are Awthentik and The Beard, and this is
Yes, sir.
Parlay.
Left
I had to
side.
start using that. Strong side. All right, ladies
Yes,
and
sir.
gentlemen, everybody enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We will be back Tuesday at our normally scheduled time of 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you guys
sir.
haven't, make sure you check out Authentic's latest episode of Giant Overreaction.
Oh,
He had
with
the
the
hub on. It was
Awesome.
a great episode, so definitely check that out for sure, guys. And good luck. Got anything else for him, Mr. Awthentik?
Nah, that's it, man. Y'all enjoy this Sunday football, man. I'm going to have that red zone on. I'm about to kick back, relax, just chill out for the rest of the day, watch some football. The one good thing about that Giants loss on Thursday is I got a whole day of football today, and my team ain't got to play. I don't got to worry about an L. So we're going to be all right on that side of things, man. But we appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll catch y'all on Tuesday for our recap show. We're going to be talking about that Washington football team game versus our New York Giants and all the other NFC East games going on today. It's going to be a big day in the NFC East, man. A couple must-wins out here. I'm looking for Dallas to take that L. I'm kind of rooting for Jalen Hurts. I don't know what's going on. I need him to, do well but not pick up third downs and not too many touchdowns. Maybe you still lose the game and have a good day on the field, man. But that's going to do it for Awthentik and The Beard, man. Left side. Y'all get them biceps in the chat one time. Left side.
Strong side.
All right, man. Y'all be good, y'all. Peace. Peace, y'all. Peace, peace, peace.